Hi, this is Nathan Forage at Nova Store. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes. It looks like there's a bunch more people joining, and then we'll get on with it. All right, it looks like there's still some more people coming in, but we'll get some of the preamble done real quick while they're joining. So to answer a couple questions up front, this webinar is going to be recorded. It's going to be sent out after the webinar's done via email. There's also going to be a couple handouts that I will also discuss during the webinar that are going to be sent out. If you have any questions during the webinar or want me to clarify anything, either me or Bill, who's going to be with me, we have the questions open, so feel free to answer questions as we ask questions as we go. We'll try to grab them as we can, but there'll also be a question and answer at the end of the webinar. So what we're going to talk about today is how to simplify backup and disaster recovery utilizing Nova Backup and Buffalo NAS devices. I'm going to be one of your speakers, Nathan Forage. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Solutions here at Nova Backup. I've been with Nova Backup for a little over 15 years or so. I'm very technical. I've started in tech support. I've worked in engineering. I now part of the group that heads does where the software is going to be going and that type of thing. So if you have any sort of questions about the product, technical things, that's my contact information right there, and I'm more than happy to get on the phone or answer emails, that type of thing. With me, I have Bill Rhodes. Bill, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. My name is Bill Rhodes. I run a channel sales program for Buffalo here in North America, which consists of, for our benefit of this discussion, the United States and Canada. And this is a solution that we've put into the market for a little while, but we haven't ever really actually started marketing it. So we're excited to unveil it to everybody today.
Perfect, thank you, Bill. So what we're going to talk about, so if you don't know Nova Backup already, so Nova Backup Corporation, we have global coverage. We have customers in every country that I can think of. Our main focus is on small businesses, MSPs, and partners. Our U.S. headquarters is in Agoura Hills, California. All of our development for this product is U.S. based. The support for this product is U.S. based. We have guys, well, we're in California right now, so most of my guys are working from home, since we're kind of still stuck in work from home mode here in California, but it's been going really well for supporting our customers and partners. We are HIPAA certified. That includes how our cloud is working too, and I'll get into that a little bit more. One of the things that we also do is we have some very flexible business models depending on what your partners need. We've skinned the cat a number of different ways on how licensing and other things can work depending on what your customer base needs. What we're going to be talking about primarily is our backup and disaster recovery solution that we've put together with Buffalo. Some of the main principles of simplifying a BDR solution is, first of all, you got to know what you need to know. You need a clear documented response plan. You need to know what you need to do if something happens. What happens if ransomware hits? What happens if a hard drive dies, or the hurricane or fire as it is right now on both sides of the country. What do you need to do? Who do you need to contact? And part of that needs to be prioritizing the critical systems and the data that the company needs to work. Whether that company is a gas station that just needs to make sure that their POS system's up and running, a doctor's office that needs to make sure that, hey, I can contact all of the people that have appointments today. I need to make sure my data is accessible and backed up to deal with regulatory compliance. Anything in between. It, any small business needs some sort of documented response plan. One of the handouts that we are going to send out via email after this is an example response plan and kind of how to start thinking about it and working through it if you don't do that already. Something to also think about when you're going through this response plan and what you need to do is you need to make sure that you reduce the complexity of what you're trying to do. If I need to deal with 3 or 4 different backup solutions in order to recover the data to where I need to be, that gets very complicated very quickly, and you need to make sure that you reduce the how do you want to say it? The scope of what you need to do in order to bring your systems back up and running to the critical, systems and data that you need to continue with your business. And when you're choosing the hardware and the software, or solution providers or what have you, you need to make sure that you're choosing solutions that promote business continuity. Make sure that this is not going to be a hindrance in order to get things back and up and running. What happens when, it's not an if, it's when something happens. How difficult is it to get everything reinstalled or recover from what I need to do? And part of that is outsourcing when it makes sense. We have a lot of MSPs and partners that are utilizing our cloud for offsite storage. Some of them choose to do it themselves, which is fine. Our software and solution allows that, but outsource where it makes sense. Does it make sense to outsource your RMM to be cloud-based, or bring it in-house, or deal with other types of solutions that kind of fit into your business continuity plan? Here's kind of a use case of where this backup and disaster recovery plan really makes sense with this type of solution that we've brought together. One of the larger verticals for our partners and MSPs that use both our software and Buffalo's solution in conjunction with us is dental offices, of all things. We have more than 30,000 US dental offices protected by Nova Backup, whether that's just local backup, cloud backup, combination of both, or even some of the BDR solutions that we're either selling or that a partner has put together for these dental offices. Dental offices, that it might be just a simple dentist with a couple people with there. It's a very small office, but there's a lot of data that needs to be protected there. All those images, all the X-rays and everything else, and all of that is protected under HIPAA. So you need to make sure that all of that is taken care of. And it gets very complicated very quickly if you don't have a good plan on what happens when, when they get ransomware, when something happens to their servers, what have you. And over the last year, we've seen some interesting, cases of, ransomware from, other, MSPs that might be dealing with dentists or other things. A number of them weren't using our software, and it was kind of interesting to see how the response plan was and the lack of response plan that some of these MSPs and partners had. So, putting that extra effort to make sure you have a good plan and a good solution for something as simple as a dental office really makes it so your life's a lot easier when something happens. When we go into the Nova Backup and Buffalo, I'll call it BDR solution, there's a number of flexible options that we can use with this solution. So you can do as simple as using the Nova Backup solution to a Windows server that's using the NAS just as storage. So using like an iSCSI solution, or even just a Samba share or NFS share for the actual data itself. You can bring your own server, you can bring your own storage, or you can actually use what I'm going to demonstrate in a little bit, the Nova Backup solution with the Buffalo Windows storage server for basically a complete solution that can bring up the virtual machines from a disaster on that BDR, on that TerraStation itself. So I mean, it can be as simple as that, or you can bring your own storage, server, what have you. And there's multiple different recovery options too. So you can recover the entire machine to the same machine, an entirely new system with dissimilar hardware, or what I'll demonstrate in a little bit, to a virtual machine that, but in this case, is running on Hyper-V. Some of our top features of Nova Backup, and some of the things that people don't really realize that's included with Nova Backup is, pretty much the entire gambit of what you would need in order to back up and recover. I'll call it a small business's environment. We go into some of these MSPs or partners that are using 3 or 4 different backup solutions. They might be using something for local backup, something for image backup, and then something for cloud backup. And in all reality, they can use just Nova Backup for all of that and be covered. Because Nova Backup can do file level backup, image level backup, local cloud backup, has support for SQL Exchange, virtual machines, that's VMware and Hyper-V, and then some of the things that we put into the software itself really help mitigate some of the, I'll say, more common ransomware things that we've seen out there. A lot of ransomware now is actually targeting backup files and backup solutions in order to delete it. Get rid of the volume shadow copies that might be on the machine. Go after the actual backup files themselves. We have some smarts in our software to help mitigate that, along with we're adding some more stuff in the near future for that too. With that being said, I want to give it back over to Bill for a little bit so we can talk about the Buffalo solution.
Yeah, so I'll just provide a little bit of background since NovaStore has invited Buffalo to this presentation. For those of you who are not familiar with Buffalo, we are a Japanese-based organization. Our North American headquarters is in Austin, Texas. I will say something that is very unique about Buffalo compared to other vendors. We are 100% committed to the SMB market. Everything that we design and build is purpose built and engineered for the small to mid-sized market. There are a number of different organizations that sell to the SMB market, and I'm kind of chuckling to myself here because they're going to offer you their mid-market or higher end products and explain how your customer will really benefit from them spending budgets that they don't really have access to get into the SMB market. Nate will move us to the next slide here, and we'll start talking about really the focus of today's presentation, is business continuity. There are a number of products that are out there in the market. What we're going to talk about today is not just an on-premise solution and not just a cloud solution, but it's a hybrid solution that includes everything you need with the purchase of a single unit from Buffalo. That's the Microsoft licensing, the Nova Store software, and the ability to bring your own cloud component along with the storage unit from Buffalo. So with that being said, the different solutions that are out there in the market, almost indefinitely. When we're talking about the smaller, the S of the SMB, your organizations that are 5 to 25 users, the options that are out there in the market today are expensive, right? Just like I was mentioning on the previous slide, there's always an option from other vendors for the small business user, but it's typically the option that's not cost effective. Some of the different options out there, actually, again, I'd say most of the ones that we've looked at are restrictive. You're going to have to live within their ecosystem of products. What we're going to show you is a completely flexible solution here. It's pretty exciting if you're familiar with some of the other BDR services out there. The other products can also be very complex, and they're not always completely comprehensive of the entire solution when we talk about the essential building blocks listed below of what makes up a complete business continuity or a BDR solution. Okay, Nate. So today, this is our first time. We're excited to actually go to market with an all-in-one hybrid solution that involves something that's unique to the market because we are 100% focusing on the true SMB, or I should say the S of the SMB, again, 5 to 25 users. We're going to offer something that this solution is completely a finite price. So you can come in and purchase it without any recurring fees, any licensing subscriptions. And finally, you're going to have complete flexibility, which is something unique in the BDR space. The majority of the other solutions out there in the market are really aggressively interested in having you get locked into putting your customers' data in their cloud environment. Because once that happens, it makes the decoupling process very difficult to achieve. So we've actually allowed you to have a bring your own cloud approach. So basically any Windows supported cloud is going to be able to host your client's data. The solution that we're talking about today is going to be centered around Buffalo's version of Windows-based NAS products called Windows Storage Server, specifically targeting a 6-bay desktop version and a 1U rack mount. All of the products that we're talking about are going to come with the Nova Store Nova Backup software, which is the critical component here. Buffalo offering a Windows-based operating system NAS, and Nova Store having not just the backup software, but the ability to spin up a virtual image through Hyper-V off of the Buffalo NAS. So again, just really key here, you're going to be able to bring your own cloud, which is essential to keeping those prices down for your customers from the MSP perspective. And this solution completely prioritizes the small business user. You will be able to quickly have a break-even point, within comparing to other monthly subscription prices that are being offered by others out there in the market. So we encourage everybody, reach out to Buffalo and to Novastore if you have any questions specific to how would you obtain this, how can you further the discussion, would you like to go beyond the demonstration that Nate is about to show now. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. So at this point, I will get into the demonstration. So I'm going to give you a high-level view of what you can do with Nova Backup and how it can work with the Buffalo WSS that Bill was talking about. So let me just get this all set up real quick. All right, so what we see right here is the Nova Backup application itself. This would be the application that you would install on whatever machine that you want to back up and protect. It has the normal backup solution with being able to select different trees, file folder type things. It would show SQL Exchange underneath here and virtual machines if you wanted to. And it has the option to go to both local and cloud devices. And I'll show you how simple it'd be to add, say, the Buffalo NAS as a device. So you would go into this device view, you would go network device, and then you just put in, Buffalo Terra Station, and then whatever the path to that would be, and then whatever username and password you would need in order to go to that path. And then it would just show up in this device view right here for the backup location. Another thing I wanted to show you here is how simple the cloud solution that's hosted by Nova Backup is to add. So you would simply, so it shows I already have 100 gig of cloud available. I would click here, and then I would just go through and register. What is this? 6. And then it'll just go ahead and register it and connect up to the cloud storage. At which point I can, I'll have a cloud storage location here. So a Nova Backup hosted cloud solution that I can send data directly to. I don't have to send it locally first and then to the cloud. It can go straight to the cloud. The other big thing, and why what we're talking about is that whole BDR solution. So for that BDR, you want to create an image of a machine. So in this case, I want to create an image of this machine, and instead of just doing the normal, I'll call it proprietary format, I want to actually just back that up directly to a VHDX. So then it'll go through my local machine here and show me all the drives and partitions that I could select, and say in this case I just want to do this particular drive because the other drive is just it's not important to me. So I would do this, then pick my destination. In this case, it would have that Buffalo NAS if I would have already added that, and then I could schedule this to say I want to run it daily, weekly, what have you. And then I can run it Monday through Friday. Actually, I'm going to go. I don't want to kick off right now. So then it would schedule it, and it'll run tonight at 11:23 and do the entire image of this machine as a VHDX. So once that machine is backed up to, in this case, this is the Buffalo WSS machine that I'm remoted into right now. And that backup that I'd done is on this machine. So in this case, it was this VHDX here that I did a backup of. It's a Windows 2019 machine, UEFI based, and say I want to set this up to test that the actual backup was good, or even set this up so I could just have like a one-touch turn on if there is a disaster. I would go into the Hyper-V manager here, just create a new virtual machine. I'll call it Jax test server. Choosing generation 2. And I'm only going to give this 2 gig of memory right now because in this case it's a pretty small machine, and this particular WSS has 8 gig of RAM, so there's not a whole lot of memory on it, but it's enough to get this machine up and running and going. I don't want it to automatically connect to the network because this machine that I'm going to bring up is actually still running on the network, so I don't want to do a conflict there. And instead of creating a virtual disk, I'm actually going to use my virtual disks that I backed up. It'll configure this, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and start this right now. And it'll take a little bit to start, but once this virtual machine is configured, as long as it's not like started, every night I could automatically overwrite this particular VHDX as an image, and so I'm going to have that machine ready to roll in case I need to bring it up, right away, because as long as that VHDX is the same name as this VM, that's going to be fine. I'll connect to this and it'll show that Windows is starting right now. Another thing you can do with this, since we're using the native Hyper-V to bring this virtual machine up, I can actually configure this that I can replicate this VM. So it'll replicate a non-running VM. So if I'm just already have this set up and ready to roll, and I'm just overwriting that VHDX every night, I can set up a replication of this machine to go to, in this case, it's another local server, but this could be another Buffalo WSS at another location. You can even set this up to go to Azure or what have you. And I just want to replicate this VHDX, and then say I want to do it every 15 minutes because that, there's not going to be a whole lot of changes on this because it's only going to change once a day. And then I can actually say I want to maintain just the latest recovery point, or I can create additional recovery points every 24 hours and keep it for however long I want to keep that. And then your initial replication method, you can do a seed, or you could just start it over the network, and that would be how that would go. One of the other things, so that's the basics of the BDR solution that would be at the end user's location for that small business. As you can see here, this machine is already up and running, and I could log into that and all that stuff. So it's going to log in and do its thing. But what I also wanted to show you is, as a partner or an MSP, if you have multiple locations out there that you have Nova Backup installed onto, you can use our central monitoring console, which is right here, to monitor all those backup jobs. So in this case, I have a few different machines connected to the central monitoring console, and I can see the last backup status for each one of them. I can drill into this and see what that last log was. So it was a small backup, but I can see everything there and where it was backing up to and how much it was. But I can also drill into an overview of I can set things up into groups and different folders if I want to, and show all of those machines as a high-level overview of what's going on there. And this is a free product that you can download and install at your location, or let us host it for you as part of our MSP platform here at Novastore. So that's all good. That's the basics of what the software and the BDR solution can really do for you. It's not that complicated once you get it set up, and it's very, very hands-off for the end user itself. All right. At this point, I'm going to go back to here, and there's already some questions that it looks like people are asking about the solution here. So let's go through a couple of these. Does CMON, so the central monitoring that I just showed you, require a local IIS server? Yes, it does require a local IIS server to host that as part of the, so you can host it yourself on a server, locally at your location on an IIS server, or even up in Azure or AWS if you want to, or if you're part of our MSP program here at Novastore, we actually host it for you and show you and basically maintain that for you. Version updates for the Novastore software. So if you have the Nova Backup software, and so the current version of the software is 19.5. Typically what we do is if you purchase a perpetual model or use the free software that comes with the Buffalo Terra stations, for instance, you're going to get all of the 19.5 updates and typically the 19X in general. So like all the minor updates would be included with that. If you're part of our Nova Backup MSP program, you get free updates and free support. It's all included with that. Here's a tough question for you, Bill. Can more memory be added to the WSS machine?
Yep, so the present answer is no. We are requesting that it be upgraded to 16 gigs. One of the ways that we're able to approach the smaller business market with this solution is by keeping the hardware infrastructure at a lower level. You'll notice that quite frequently, many of the other BDR solutions out there, they will have some higher price tags for the piece of hardware that you're licensing out or leasing out to your clients. This is going to have just a single one-time upfront fee. I will point out, though, something that is really unique and different about the current scenario is that 6-bay unit. It has a hardware RAID control card built into it. So Buffalo in Japan, about probably 4.5 years ago now, bought a Windows hardware RAID manufacturing and design company. So we've incorporated that technology into that 6-bay desktop version, which certainly yields to a more smooth implementation of any kind of Windows operating system in a RAID environment. So, but to answer directly again, it is something that we have asked for the ability to increase the RAID or the memory level. At this point in time, it is set at 8 gigs though.
Okay. Another question specifically about the Buffalo Terra station. What does the warranty look like on that? What does that cover?
Yep. So that's actually, I think, one of the areas that we shine, right? It's not just our conjecture here. Everybody always thinks that they do a good job. We have pretty good track record of excellent performance and industry awards and recognition. We've won 4 years in a row. This Computer Reseller News' annual report card survey for having the best support in our small to mid-sized business storage networking category. So if you are an end user, you're going to receive the full 3-year warranty. You can call our team in Texas 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're an MSP and you're a registered partner with Buffalo, we're going to really go the extra mile. You'll definitely have a dedicated contact within the organization that you'll know names and faces and direct telephone numbers. But you're also going to have a different telephone number to call from the support perspective. So you're not waiting in line when you call in queue. And if there is any, say, need for a hard drive replacement because they are spinning products, they will eventually at some point probably have an issue. One of those can be, well, however many actually can be replaced with a free advanced replacement just simply by signing up into our program.
Okay, good. I guess something on the Nova Backup side. What amount of cloud storage is included with the Buffalo the Buffalo licenses? So there isn't any free cloud storage included with the Buffalo licenses, but there is options to upgrade that and purchase whatever Nova Backup cloud storage you'd want on that. If you want pricing or help with that, or just have any questions on that, just let me know, and I can get you any information for that.
Yeah, and here's a question that I'd like to introduce Gary Thomas, who's on the line. He's a sales engineer from Buffalo. We get this question frequently, and it is very critical or essential to this solution. Gary, can maybe you address how many virtual instances can be supported simultaneously?
Sure thing, Bill. So this particular version of Windows Storage Server allows up to 2 VMs running at a time in Hyper-V. So, and again, this is not a this is by no means a high performance machine. So probably running more than 2 would tax it a little bit too much anyway. But the version of Hyper-V, our Windows Storage Server that's installed in this, does allow up to 2 virtual machines to run.
Right, and so again, one of the ways we're able to provide a cost-effective solution for the small business is by working within the structure of the Microsoft licensing agreement that we have. What's really unique, again, about this though, or interesting, we spent quite a bit of time, more than 1.5 years, surveying and asking our MSP community, well, how critical is it for your small business to have immediate or instantaneous uptime? Is it worth being able to, or for them to be able to pay the full price of the other BDR services out there? Majority of the time, the answer was no, and really they just needed a spare tire to get them along until they could repair the other primary issue. So you guys saw in a live demo right here, even over the net, Nathan was able to spin up that other's instance. Nate, do you think probably 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in that range?
Not even that, yeah. So it's pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah, so there are solutions that do provide instantaneous support. They just come with a higher price tag from other vendors. There are some very good products that are out there. We just feel that there's a need that's really unaddressed, and as I mentioned previously, it's just not prioritized by some of the other BDR vendors out there. And we feel that we're able to address that at that price point for those small businesses.
Here's another question. Is there an option to include a VMware server in the environment? So I don't know if you mean as a target for bringing up that machine as a VMware server, or actually backing it up. So I'll answer both questions on this case. So with the Nova Backup Business Essentials product, there is an option to back up VM guests that are on licensed VMware ESXi or vCenter servers. So you can do that. As to running, taking that image and bringing it as a BDR machine, our current image backup will only go to VHD or VHDX or the proprietary format. I've done some things where it will you could take it to a VHDX and then convert it to a VMDK, and you can get that to work. It's just not that one step thing that is immediate. So could you do it? Yes. Is it better just to use like Hyper-V or something else that can use VHDX or VHD native? That's what I would suggest. Yeah. Another interesting question. So when I'm talking about some of the ransomware protections and that type of thing that we put into our software, one of the most common things that we're seeing with ransomware is it'll actually go out and look for any open share and use any credentials that might be stored within Windows or stored within that it can get access to try to encrypt stuff over the network shares or what have you. One of the things that we do in the Nova Backup software is you can actually put the credentials for that network share that you're going to be backing up to directly within our software. It's not stored in the Windows credential hive or anything like that. And it'll actually connect every time a backup is done. It actually makes a connection to that network share with those credentials. Doesn't store it locally on the Windows Credential Manager or anything like that. And then it will open up that connection to that network share, write the backup data, and then that connection is closed. So if you set up your network share properly, so only Nova Backup can get to it, and no other normal credentials within the network can utilize that, can get to that, then you're going to have a fairly secure network share from ransomware. Yep, it sounds like a lot of people are chiming in that's what they're actually doing. Yep, perfect. All right. Well, that looks like the majority of the questions that we've went through, and unless there's anything else from anyone that's viewing here, or if you've had anything else, Bill.
Yeah, well, we give everybody one last chance here to ask any questions. I will point out that for the reseller community, Buffalo has a not for resale program. If you would like to put your hands on this solution, test drive it yourself. Of course, we'll do everything remotely for you to get you as comfortable as possible, but nothing is the same as putting it in your own environment, running it through the paces for your own comfort level before you put it out in the market. We are very, very big proponents of you being extremely comfortable and knowledgeable of the product before you go and deliver a solution to the end customer. So we're happy to invest with you in that scenario. We do have an NFR program. If you'd like to reach out to us, we'll be happy to set something up through your preferred distributor.
Hi, a couple more questions that while you were talking. So yes, this demo that I've done is going to be on demand. We're going to send out links to it post webinar. It'll probably be a few hours or maybe even till tomorrow after they clean up the webinar a little bit and post it on YouTube or what have you. But other resources for what I've done today. There is a knowledge base and YouTube videos that here at Nova Backup we posted that go through almost everything that I've done today. Buffalo also has a number of different resources that clone or do a lot of the same things that I've done today on their knowledge base too. Another thing, has the solution been tested for database servers? So the cool thing is what we're utilizing for doing this the image and that type of thing, it is going to be utilizing the volume shadow copy service within Windows. So as long as the database that you might be running on that machine is VSS aware, it's going to be fine. I've used SQL, SQL Server is just fine. Many different interesting dental EMR solutions have been tested and worked just fine on this. Typically, unless it's a very, very high performance machine that is doing something really strange, like if it's an Oracle server or something like that, you're probably not going to be doing this with that. But for anything that's small business related, you're going to be fine on that. So which Windows servers has this solution been tested on? So we do testing all the way back to 2008 to 2019. So that is our current supported solution all the way back to 2018, even though 2008, even though Microsoft doesn't currently support 2008 anymore, we still support it. We also support Windows 7 also, and up to Windows 10. So that's the currently supported OSs for this product. Another question: who do I talk to about setting up the central monitoring on Nova Backup's cloud and that type of thing? Honestly, just reach out to either me or any of the salespeople at Nova Store, and we can help you get you into the MSP program and give you a demo and show you how everything like that would work. Okay, Bill, I think at this point we've kind of exhausted their questions. So unless you have anything else.
No, I appreciate everybody's time. And again, we aren't shy. We just want to be available for you. So please feel free to reach out after the webinar. We're happy to, again, like I said, test drive any of this stuff for you remotely, and then certainly work with you to get something over for your own in-office testing before you put it out to the clients. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Along with that, one of the things that we do here at Nova Backup is, even if you have questions about like a setup or a potential setup, just reach out to us. We're more than happy to get on the horn and talk it through and see what you actually have going on. So with that, I want to thank you and thank you, Bill, for joining on the webinar. And then we can.
Yeah, thanks, Nate and Nova Store team for inviting us to talk to your partners.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.